أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله سيد المرسلين وخاتم النبيين ورحمة للعالمين وصلى الله على آله الطاهرين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا أوصيكم عباد الله ونفسي بتقوى الله. Today's khutbah I would like to talk about the situation in India. The capital of the world's largest democracy is actually going through turmoil. The BJP, the ruling party, was again defeated in the recent elections locally in Delhi. And their anger was expressed by targeting the peaceful people who had been protesting for so many months now against the CAA, the Citizenship Amendment Act. One of the leaders of the BJP party publicly challenged the police to remove the protesters from an area known as Shaheen Bagh in Delhi, that you should do that in 3 days, otherwise we will remove them. So they will take things in their own hands. He didn't even wait for 3 days. The same night, there were social Facebook messages going around in that group that they have to gather and take, basically create chaos there. And within hours, Hindu mobs started gathering in some of the areas of where the Muslims are in Delhi. And the police was amazingly sitting there, watching this. And in some cases, they actually joined the mobs in destroying the cars and the motorbikes of the people in that neighborhood, and even burning the shops and businesses, which were mostly of those who were Muslims. In some cases, they even entered the masajid and tried to burn it. There are pictures of especially the Quran shelves that they had, which was totally burned. And this resulted in almost 40 people being killed, mostly Muslims, and nearly 200 injured. Even the United Nations High Commission for Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet, she expressed her concern in yesterday's meeting in Geneva at the 43rd session of Human Rights Council, where she says very clearly that Indians in huge numbers and from all communities have expressed in a most peaceful manner their opposition to the act, referring to the Citizenship Amendment Act, and the support for the country's long tradition of secularism. I'm concerned by reports of police inaction in the face of attacks against Muslims by other groups, as well as previous reports of excessive use of force by police against peaceful protesters. Although we see in this, especially if you look at the social media, there are some positive stories in this suffering that Muslims are going through at the moment in Delhi, that it seems that these mob were not local people. These were basically, the mobs who have been gathered from different parts. And because there were some neighbors, Hindu neighbors actually, who came to protect their Muslim neighbors, to the extent of them themselves be injured in that process. And not only, there's one report in the BBC that this is an area of the Muslims in Delhi which borders with the UP state. Delhi itself is considered to be a province or a state by itself. And UP is the one side of the border of Delhi. And this is a Muslim area bordering UP side. And one of the officers from the other side, there is jurisdiction issue. The police of one area cannot enter and do anything in the other area unless they have permission. But one of the senior officers said, we were watching from the other side, from the UP side, and as long as they were just destroying cars, we didn't do anything. But when I saw one of them taking petrol bomb and trying to enter a house, this is where I decided I have to forget the issue whether I have a permission to, jump over or not. And he, with his own team, decided to go there, confront the mob, tried to reason with them not to do this, but when they didn't listen to him, they even started stoning them, actually, the police. And this group decided we'll just, stay put here. Eventually, the mob was, at least from that local area, they were forced to move. And so we see positive signs also. And even now, from the reports, some of the neighborhoods now have Hindu-Muslim, neighborhood committees, just to safeguard the area from these hooligans who come from outside. And so we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for safety of everyone there, and especially to bless those who are people of conscience, irrespective of their religion, who express their humanity in a very challenging situation. On a local level, I would just say, at least try to do one thing. Send a message to your local MP to ask the Canadian government to at least take a stand on this issue. This is an issue of protecting the minorities, the issue of, maintaining the secular nature of, India. As Amir al-Mu'mineen in his letter to Malika Ashtar makes a statement where he says, فَإِنِّي سَمِعْتُ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَآلِهِ وَسَلَّمَ He says, I heard the Messenger of Allah saying, فِي غَيْرِ مَوْطِنٍ, saying in more than one place. What did the Prophet say? لَن تُقَدَّسْ أُمَّةٌ لَا يُؤْخَذْ لِلضَّعِيفِ فِي حَقَّهُمْ مِنَ الْقَوِيِّ. He says, that no community can ever gain sanctity in which the weak does not get his right without fear of speaking. And that is a universal, teaching which applies to whether India or other parts of the world, even in Muslim countries, as well as in Canada. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to fulfill our duty in these matters. إن أحسن الحديث كتاب الله العزيز بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحليم الكريم غافر الذنب وقابل التوب وهو الغفور الرحيم ونشهد أن لا إله إلا هو العطوف للعباد بجوده والعواد على المذنبين بحلمه ونشهد أن محمدا نبيه وحبيبه صلى الله عليه وآله الداعين إلى سبيل الله بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة قادة الأمم وأولياء النعمة ومعدن الرحمة أوصيكم عباد الله بتوبة ما سلف من ذنوبكم. In the last, I think 2 weeks ago, or the last khutbah or the one before, we talked about this issue of the coronavirus. That it is, as a virus, it doesn't, differentiate between Asian or European, black and white, rich and poor, Muslim, non-Muslim, Shia, Sunni, doesn't matter. And therefore, when we talk about the dua, we do dua for everyone, for the total humanity, so that we can be saved as a human society. I would like to, talk very briefly here about a report that I saw in the Persian version of BBC. just in 2-3 days, where this journalist, I don't know where he got this information from, where he is trying to blame the ulama inside Iran that they are hindering the efforts of the health officials in preventing the spread of the virus. And I'm really surprised. Sometimes, you know how people, they have their own biases and political agenda, and they use even this kind of tragedies. And this was used as if to say, and the title was Religion and Science, you know, opposing one another. And when even on Monday night when we had the celebration of Wiladat, I talked about this issue where I said, look at the situation even in Qom, where the seminary has closed all the lectures. Schools are closed, of course, there. And some of the senior ulama who normally lead the prayers of Zuhrain, for example, in Masjid Azam, which is the biggest masjid near the Haram, even Ayatollah Jafar Subhani is not coming to the masjid. Basically, there is no namaz jamaat going on. And if you look at all the announcements of the Maraji, Ayatollah Makarim, Ayatollah Wahid, and others, all of them are urging people to listen to the instructions of the health officials. This is the first statement they have. Then they say, and also recite this dua and that dua. So dua is there, but you can't do dua without dawa. You have to follow what the medical officials are saying about it. And even if you look at the official announcement that they had yesterday, saying that, about 23 major cities, there is no Friday Jummah there, Friday prayers. Of course, many people will say, oh, how can we do this is wajib and this and that, but emergency situation demands emergency rulings. And if this becomes a cause of spreading the virus, you have to stop the gatherings. And so in the major cities in Iran, Friday prayers has been cancelled. And there is a very clear ruling. We don't need ijtihad on this issue, that if somebody, if it is known that somebody has been infected with that virus, that person has a religious duty of isolating himself or herself. Because going into a public gathering, even if it's a religious gathering, you are actually putting others at danger. And Islam doesn't accept it. It is a haram. You don't need any specific fatwa in this issue. And this is to the extent that if you knowingly do that, come into a public gathering knowing that you have this and been infected with this virus, you become liable in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and according to even Islamic laws. Because you are causing this, danger in the society. And so, no, there is no dispute on science and religion in this issue from our point of view. This is just propaganda, one way of, getting trying to tarnish the image of Islam, especially Shiaism on this issue. Yes, ulama have been talking about dua, amal, ziyarat, ashura and things like that you do at your home, which is good. But this doesn't mean that you do not follow the instructions of the health officials. As I said earlier, that virus doesn't know any color or nationality or status of a person or a religion of a person or the sect of a person. Even if you are a mu'min believing in the wilayat of Ahlul Bayt, doesn't mean you have been protected. There are some misguided people, and there have been in past, who think that, oh, if you have a true iman, you are protected. And if somebody is not feeling well, they say, maybe your iman is weak. Allah basically condemns such people. During the days of Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salatu wasalam, there is a group headed by a fellow known as Mughira. He was a ghali. Ghali means those who are exaggerate the position of the Prophet and the Imams above what they are. And that was a problem during those days, days of the Imams, and this is a problem even now. There is a fringe element in the Muslim world who are known as ghulat. So we have a problem on one hand, those who put down the position of the Ahlul Bayt, the Muqassirin. On the other extreme, we have those who are known as ghulat or ghali, who elevate them above this position that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to them. So somebody came to Imam Muhammad al-Baqir and he asked, this person asked, إن المغيرة يقول إن المؤمن لا يبتلى بالجزام ولا بالبرص ولا بكذا ولا بكذا. He says, you know, this Mughira is going around saying that whoever is a true mu'min, as this wilayat of Ahlul Bayt, he will never be inflicted with juzam or baras, you know, skin disease or leprosy or this and that. So wilayat basically protects you from all the bala and the disease. And Imam responds by saying, إن كان لغافلا عن صاحب ياسين. It seems this fellow didn't know the story of Sahib Yasin. In Surah Yasin there is a story. وَجَاءَ رَجُلٌ مِّنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ, about this person who came from the other end of the city, supporting those who were the messengers of the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that person is, you know, described in this Surah Yasin as a righteous person. And he was eventually killed because of his belief. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala narrates his situation in Barzakh, where he says, I wish my people would know what is the reward that I got for following these messengers. And you know, so he was a very righteous person. And Imam says, and not only that, let me, you know, also link that to a hadith of the Prophet, where the Prophet says, As-Siddiqun Thalatha. Those who are known to be Siddiqun, who are on the highest level of truth, are only three. One is this Sahib Yasin, and second is Mu'min of Ali Fir'aun, a member from Fir'aun's family who was a believer, but he was in taqiyya, didn't express openly. And the third, Ali, you know, Prophet says, is Ali bin Abi Talib. وَعَلِيٌّ أَفْضُلُهُمْ. So this Sahib Yasin is on that higher level, that even Prophet praises him. And our fifth Imam says, you know, Mughira, by saying that a mu'min will never be inflicted with disease, he doesn't know the story of this person. This person had leprosy. You know, yet he is on that level. He was Sahib Iman. And then Imam says, إِنَّ الْمُؤْمِنِ يُبْتَلَى بِكُلِّ بَلِيَّةٍ. A mu'min can be, you know, put into test by any kind of disease. Allah can do their imtihan and ibtila in that way. وَيَمُوتُ بِكُلِّ مِيتَةٍ. And he might die by all different forms of death. So, you know, when we talk about Iman, doesn't mean that this is, you know, vaccination against the worldly problems that we have. No. You know, sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would test people by such situations. But the important point at the end in the hadith of the Imam is, إِلَّا أَنَّهُ لَا يَقْتُلُ نَفْسُهُ. A mu'min, even if he or she is infected with these kinds of disease, they suffer, yet they do not go to the extent of killing themselves. Suicide is not permissible, because that is kind of the ibtila and imtihan and test and trial that we go through in this dunya. And so, you know, Iman is there, definitely, but even this bala from, you know, in this dunya, it is part of human life. And so we have to take precaution according to the medical officials, as well as do the dua that we have from our resources. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep everyone safe, and may He get rid of this virus that we have at the moment in this world. اللهم صل على سيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. وعلى إمام المتقين وأمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب صلوات الله عليه، وعلى سيدة النساء العالمين سيدتنا فاطمة بنت رسول الله صلوات الله عليها، وعلى سيد شباب أهل الجنة الحسن المجتبى والحسين الشهيد بكربلاء عليهم الصلاة والسلام. اللهم صل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي عليهم الصلاة والسلام. اللهم صل على مولانا الحجة بن الحسن صاحب العصر والزمان، ماحي آثار البدء والطغيان هادم أبنية الشرك والنفاق حاسد فر البغي والشقاق، صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آبائه الكرام ما اتصلت الليالي والأيام. اللهم عجل فرج وسهل مخرجه، واكحل ناظرنا بنظرة منا إليه، واجعلنا من المستشهدين بين يديه. اللهم اجعلنا ممن يذكر فتنفعه الذكرى. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي، يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون.